Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. She's in the house. And we are talking about your money mindset. Let's get our minds together, folks. Oh my gosh, we're on this
Mhm.
whole thing of money. Um, Whether it's our personal finances or our business finances, we need to be thinking straight. Let's get us
Yep, yep.
thinking straight. So today, Coach Karen is here to help us talk about our routine, and I'm going to let her elaborate on that. But before we get started, I just want to remind you that Coach Karen can be found everywhere on the web at Profits in Daily. So if you're looking to connect with her, you can find her there on Instagram and Facebook as well. She has a number
Right.
of groups that you may want to become a part of, and we highly recommend her as a money mindset coach. So here we are with our favorite money mindset coach, Coach Caren Fern from Toronto, Canada. Coach, what do you have for us today?
There we're talking about routine is good news. But before I get there, let's go over the few weeks we did before. We talked about cash flow movements and we talked about cash flow versus profit. And I'm taking a pause from that and I'm telling you routine. We're talking about routine today because all those things are
Yes.
routine, whether we understand it or not. Everything we do, when we put it in a routine, what happens over time it becomes the thing we do, right? And then we're not worried about it anymore. It's like the people who, if you went to a uniform school, you put on that uniform and you're ready for class. Routine, if you're going to work, you should have your work clothes set up for the week and you're off to go. Don't put any barriers in front of what you got to do because it's another step and you're not going to do it, right? If you're working out, get your exercise clothes out the night before. If you sweat a
Mhm.
lot, plan 2 or 3 outfits for the week and have them ready to go. So you grab them the night before, you put your runners at the bottom and you got them to go. If you're doing exercise, have that ready to go. Set up your routine, right? It is good news. It gets you to where you have to be. Even when it feels boring and it's something you don't want to do, get that routine going. Routine is good news. And we're going to cover why is it though? Like, why is it, right? I'll give you a little sneak preview there. And how do we build confidence in what we do with our routine? And that leads to your dollars. Remember, we're talking about money, but we're setting up your mind for it. And what will it take
Okay.
for you to do this? Routine, 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 guys. It is one of those things that feels so boring. I got this quote out of my daily word this morning. And it says, routine, I realized,
Mhm.
is good news. And it brings a blessing. Routine is good
Wow.
news and it brings you all your blessings. It's part of our discipline that God wants us to be in and do, the things that He asks us to do. When we ask God for something, He gives us a set of steps to get us there. And what we do
Mhm.
is not do the steps. We find it too boring.
Say that.
It takes too long. Why would
We
I
got
do
all these reasons why we not doing what we supposed to be
that?
doing.
Bunch of excuses. But the truth is, we need to get up there and get it done because when you don't do it, what people don't realize, it sits in the background, musing itself in your mind and your subconscious.
Mhm.
And you've got a lot of unfinished work, whether because you're going to finish the work or you're going to let it go and it's over. You got to get rid of it. When you have a routine, you start seeing the things that is not worth your while keeping on the plate because it doesn't fit into your routine or you can't make
Mhm.
time for it or you decide it's going to be a project for a later date. When that time comes, then you get into it. So why though? Why do good routine is good news? It helps you to see a continual pattern, good or bad, so you can stop and fix. So if you're routinely seeing that when the paychecks come in, you got no money left, you're realizing I have to start a new routine or I have to tweak what I'm doing. But there's something to go back and check, right? You're seeing that I
Mhm.
have this business and it's not making me the dollars I thought it was going to make me. Where are the holes? What am I doing wrong? Or have I done it for a long enough time to decide not to do it anymore? Sometimes we give up really too quickly. Okay. Sometimes we got a project and it's got so many parts to it that we give up really quickly and easily. And I understand money makes you want to do that. If you don't have enough money, you feel that's what you need to do to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But all the other next things, because you didn't create a good routine initially, all the other new things are going to suffer, just like the first thing, whatever that thing is.
Mhm.
Whatever that thing is, if you don't build a good enough routine. Yeah, this is way back when, but I visit that place of mine, and you should too. If you had started a business and it did well, or did anything in your life well, go back and revisit. Spend some time with it. Get a cup of tea, a couple of cookies, and have fun reliving that good thing, that good news, and how it facilitated itself that made it become the good news. So I'm going to
Oh,
give you a little story. I'm going to give you a little story, right?
I
I
love a good story.
I had this gentleman years and years ago who had a business and he wanted stuff wholesale from me. And he said to me, Karen, I'm an early riser. Are you? And I go, yes, I am. And I was going to give him about 3 products in his establishment wholesale, and he was going to sell it. And I was going to sell
Mhm.
it to him once a week. Lo and behold, we started off with once a week. In a day, it was sold out. So he started taking it 3 times a week, sold out. Then we moved into every single day. He couldn't keep it on the shelves, and I couldn't, it didn't matter how much I make, it was gone. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's routine. I get up at 4:30 because he's at my place at 5. One of the
Mm.
materials I needed, he was a supplier of it anyway, and he would drop it off at me. The rest I got myself, and I would start work. And as I build my product line, I kept my routine. Even the
Mhm.
days when he didn't do drop off, that didn't make me sleep in later. I still got up at 4:30, did what I needed
Mhm.
to do from 4:30 to 5:30. The business stuff started at 6. I got working from 6 to around 8, get my son to school, come back and continue the journey. The days were not pretty. There were nothing fancy. There was no pictures to take, no videos to show you what I was doing. But every single day, I worked the wholesale business from around 6 in the morning all the way to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then
Mm.
the retail part of the business pick up and went right through to 5. And sales really last up to about 7:30 at night. Every day, because of routine, guys, because of routine. Not only did I have this one wholesale customer, but within less than 90 days, we had 3 other wholesale customers came on board. I
Mm.
hired people to help me fulfill.
Yes.
Routine is important because now I can teach the new people what I'm doing routinely. Even though they're coming on around 9 or 10 in the day, it didn't matter.
Uh-huh.
When they came on, they had their portion of work to get done from X amount of time to X amount of time.
Mhm.
Routine is so important. It helps with so many things.
The other thing is that when you have a routine, then you know what pieces you can assign to other people.
hmm hmm Yep. You get to make that work, order that work sheet that I used to have, and I bring it into this century where I always have a work schedule, just even for myself. So my title and what kind of work comes with the title that I'm wearing at that time. What it allows me to do
Mhm.
is when I'm ready to pass on that title to somebody else, there's a history of the work that needs to be done under that title with a pay frame and a raise and how often the raise happen. And this whole thing that I literally have written out. So if I'm starting with, like, for instance, in my cleaning business, if I'm starting with a cleaning tech, there's a training starting point and a bonus for the people who excel. And then there's the time frame when they get a raise and what qualifies them to get the raise. And all this is in my books. And what happens on the next level and the next level. Once we hit that level, the 3 levels, then we sit down and discuss where they go further in the company if they want to stay longer, what they're going to get out of the company, what the company's willing to do for them. All this is speak on the minute you become full-time with me. Part-time, you get the part-time news, you get the move-up news, and then when you get full-time, you get to decide some really exciting things we talk about. In my the people I hire, we talk about budgeting. We talk about how they're going to spend their money that they're earning from my company. Why? When they get these kind of information, it excites them. They want to come to work. There's something they're working towards. You don't need to hide things from your employees when you do get there. Get them excited as a customer.
I'm sorry. I love it. I just love the idea of sharing information with your employees. You want them to feel invested. You want them to
Hmm.
feel like they're growing
Yes.
because when they feel good about themselves, they feel good about the company. They feel good
Yeah.
about coming to work and
Yeah. And
everybody's excited. And there's a
yes.
different conversation going on the work line other than, oh
Mhm.
God, what you going to do when you get off?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes. Yes. And they come to you with ideas. They're like, I used to have to say, don't call me boss. I had this girl used to say, boss, I had the greatest ideas when I wake up this morning. What if I do X, Y, and Z? And we'll test it. If it worked, we pass it on to other employees. And she feel great about it. That she was the one, because I'm gonna name her. I'll say, this is Lucy idea, Lucy came up with this. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna have
Let's
to
yeah,
convert
let's
Lucy on
try it.
this.
And
Yeah,
then people are on board and
yeah,
it gives them license to help. Oh,
yes,
I saw this. Maybe if we turn it this way, we'll get more production. You know,
yeah.
because a lot of times the workplace is so um devastating. No, let's do another word. So boring or it it's limiting. People don't want to hear what you have to say. There's no outlet for your ideas. And so people can save the company a lot of money, but they don't. They just keep on doing what they do. Okay. Because the
Yeah,
last time I had an idea, everybody looked at me like I was like a, you know, like I had.
yeah, yeah. This is what happened with the guy with the water. He went to Europe. He came back to the States. He told his boss. The boss says that's the stupidest thing ever. The guy stayed with the company 6 months, and then he left and opened his own forest bottle company selling water because he wouldn't listen. The company lose out on a good deal, and the guy started his own company. You gotta
Mm,
listen to people.
and
And
now
if and every
selling bottled water is a thing.
right. It's a thing. It's like listening to when there were corona, this girl on YouTube was talking about it. Her sons would sell water, a lot of
Uh-huh.
water, and they had an opportunity to get a well to do spring water. And where a lot of people would have back away after things got difficult, she stick with it. She is a how much $1 million company. Only black woman that at the time when I'd listened to it that have a spring well bottle water bottling company in the United States.
Wow, this is really amazing because I can remember when we would stop at a place that had free running water, mountain water, and
Hmm.
my grandmother would fill up gallon jugs of water. Um, and she called it free Adam's ale.
And there you go.
So, but that spring water probably could be sold today.
Yes, you have the
Fresh
right
mountain water.
sterilization, the right, because it comes through. Like once you get permission, she was explaining like all the things you got to do, but once you get out in place, it's free water to be bottled. Yes, you got to pay for the equipment and the other stuff, but she says like such a win-win, right? Such a win-win. So there's all these things that happen when you have routine. You see opportunities, you see what you can do, you see how you can better yourself. Don't look at it as boring. Routine is good news, guys. Here's the second part. How do we build confidence in what we do? Through routine. Your confidence
Mm.
is built through routine. When you're routinely doing something, you start feeling good about yourself. You're feeling great about it, right? Let's say your aim was to make $100. You made $100. You start feeling good. A confident boost. Then now you know that you can make $1,000. Confident boost. And here's the other thing, guys. I want you to hear this and hear this well. When you're starting anything, you're at the bottom of the barrel. That's okay. You got to be there. We all are at the bottom when we're starting. It's okay to be at the bottom because you're going to rise to the top. The minute you hit 100,000, you're going to be at the bottom again because somebody has made 10 a million. So you're rising to the million. When you're at a million, you're going to be the bottom again because somebody's in the billions. You got to rise to the billion. This is how it works. And everybody, every single body, every human being, when they're at the bottom, they feel like they can't do anything. They're not doing anything. They're not great at what they do. Not true, but that is part of the process. You keep to your routine and you build your confidence by continuously doing.
You know, the Bible says, do not despise small beginnings.
Exactly. Exactly. If we understand that we need to think small to get big, have a big picture, but you got to come back to the small things. You got to come back to the itty bitty things because those itty bitty things are going to get you far. I could never call his last name, but Robert from Rich Dad Poor Dad. He said he had this great idea of all what he wanted to do, and he didn't like to do the small, tiny things. And when he wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the editor said to him, "Now, okay, this is your big idea. Before we get the book we got, we need to start here." And he was cringing about getting to that tiny itty bitty, in his mind, question she was questioning him about. But he needed to be there so that the public could enjoy, understand, and grow from the book. If not, what would be the point? You got to get in there and help the people understand where you're going. This is why YouTube is so great. YouTube morning, good morning, Doc. This is why YouTube is so great because if you're paying attention, I know people just breeze through, but when I encourage everybody, when you go to YouTube, sit down and make the time and listen to what you're going to listen to. Grab a pen and paper because somebody is telling you something really, really good. If they tell you think for 30 minutes and you only get 1 point, that 1 point is going to get you to the rest of the points you need. Do not be in a hurry. If you're building a company, 5, 10, maybe 20 years, that company might take to take off. Not because you don't get wins along the way. It just means for what you want, it might take 20 years. You might want to sell the company, but you can sell the company in 5 years. Nothing's wrong with it. But I promise you, if you kept the company for 10 or 12 years, you'll sell it at a better dollar amount. You'll do great things. You will learn great things within that company. One of the things I don't think people realize, when you start a business and you turn it into a company, you start teaching yourself, let's say productivity. Let's say you're teaching yourself tech stuff. Let's say you're teaching yourself all these other great things. Eventually, you need to learn how to be a CEO, how to be a president. These are different things, how to analyze money. Even if you got a financial guy or gal, these are things that your company will teach you because over time you will learn to ask better questions to get better answers. And it will teach you things you can't just buy. I can't hear.
I have to turn you up because my gardener is here again with the leaf blower. But I have to mute myself.
I think I
Uh,
watch.
yes, I was going to say these things we learn as we go, and I think it's frustrating for a lot of entrepreneurs or people running households because they want to know everything at once.
Yeah.
But you need to be incremental
Hmm.
as you grow.
Yes. You have to. When I start teaching my eldest son, he's 38 now. When we first got him in the kitchen, I said, Paul, you're going to empty the garbage bins. Then I said, you're going to wash the garbage bins and learn how to line the paper. He was in a hurry, but I was not in a hurry. Then he learned how to dry the dishes before he learned to wash the dishes. Then I would wash and he would rinse, and he would watch me how I wash and he rinsed the dishes. Then he got to take over the whole process of the kitchen because I had a son. And no, I didn't have a daughter yet. So I had a son. The son was going to learn until the daughter, who knows if I was going to get a daughter. It took me 8 years to get a daughter. So, he learned how to do that. He got in the kitchen the same way to cook. He learned how to chop things first. He was a sous chef before he can cook the food. He learned to sweep before he can mop. He learned all the things because I wanted my sons to be able to look after themselves without a woman involved. I didn't want them to have to depend on when they get married. I told them, From the time they can understand, you got to learn to do everything for yourself. Wash, clean, cook. You can buy, but you need to learn how to do it. And then we're going to look at the rest of the thing. Just like money, you need to learn how to budget. And who liked it? None of my kids did, but they had a mother that going to make them learn about it.
And all of this helps us to grow incrementally so that we're not overwhelmed. If we if someone took everything that we've learned over a lifetime and dumped it in front of us and said, you got to learn this, would our eyes not roll back?
We'll probably pass out. We'll pass out. We'll just pass out.
Exactly.
We'll just pass out. And guys, I tell you, run your household like a business. As I got another child and she come in the picture, so the work get divided up now. So Paul would wash and she would dry the dishes. She would gather the garbages and he would take it out to the house. So we're moving them into different categories. When a third child came along, he get different duties, but coincide with the other two. And that's what you do in your business life. When you start growing and you start moving, you hire somebody. You put them in place. You teach them what to do. Most people want people with experience. I personally love to hire people without experience. I'll tell you why. You can come with your education, but I don't care about your experience. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Your experience is not going to make my company great. It depends on what capacity. Some experience is fine, but I don't want to come fully capacitated full, because then you can't take in what I have to offer. You're going to tell me how Jane ran her company and how Mary did this that way and how Joseph told you to climb a ladder. That's not what I want to do. Right here, right now, this is what I want to do. This is the company policy. This is how we run this company. This is how Narca Inc. is run. And here's the things I want to do. And only those things. And then you'll get graduated as you better these 4 or 6 items on your list. I do not overcrowd my staff ever. And they usually want to know how they have such little work to do. But what I'm doing is helping them build momentum. I treat them as though.
And expertise in those few things.
Yes.
You become expert at those few things.
Yes. Yes.
Because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Everything. And I love them to teach it to me. As simple as clean. I remember when I hired this 3 ladies at once, and I was only able to keep one because the rest wasn't following. And I wanted her to teach me back, and she could. The rest couldn't. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing. They thought it was just this thing that you come in and you sweep in your mop. Cleaning is way more than that. And so customer service, greeting clients, being able to perform while you answer questions, not losing the rhythm of getting the place clean while you answer questions. The customers is also testing you to see what you can handle, even if you don't think so, or even if subconsciously they're not fully aware why they're doing it. So your job is to learn how to do all these things. So there's just a few you learn, you'll really get good at, and then we add on. And if people see their businesses that way, they'll understand how routine is good news. I'm going to stick to that. It's really good news. You know what you got to do, and you get in there and you do it. And you do it. And you do it. And you teach somebody about it, and you do it. And you keep doing it. It's a wonderful thing. Your business will grow. You wouldn't even notice when your business was growing. I was telling my mom this the other day. I said, when you're in pain, you focus on the pain. And all you can feel is the pain at the time. But I promise you, if you took the focus off the pain just for a little bit, you'll forget about the pain. Not completely, but a little bit of the pain might feel like it went away. But it's really because you took focus off the pain. So that's a mind thing. You just took a little bit of focus off the pain. The pain didn't go anywhere, but you feel relief in the pain. Guys, Terry Garden is there, so we can't hear us because the gardener is in the house.
And I'm saying goodbye to my granddaughter. Bye-bye, sweetie. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I like this whole idea of recognizing that a routine is valuable. I think sometimes we get so what would you call it? Where if, for instance, I have a number of reminders on my phone. And after a while, because they are things that have been incorporated into my routine, like hydrate, meditate, walk. But these, I have formed such a routine that I
Yes.
actually have become numb to the reminders. What I
Reminders. Yeah.
should do, what I should do is, now that it's incorporated in my routine, I should take those reminders off
Yes.
because they're creating mind clutter now.
Yes. And you don't need that. You don't need
I,
that anymore. Hmm.
because I know what my routine is.
And that's the other thing. Once you have mastered it, you can go on to the other thing. You don't have to keep reminding yourself about the same things over and over. I know when I get up in the morning, it's prayers, exercise, quiet time with the Lord and that sort of thing, a bath, breakfast, and get to it. Like I know
Exactly.
this. It's there. So I routinely do it. I don't like to fall off, but there's times when I'm not on it. And my body doesn't like it. I don't like it. I feel I'm missing something. So I quickly get back to it. And it's not boring.
Hmm.
Sometimes people think it's boring. It's just like if you don't like school, you'll think, why do I need school again? But I've got a paper that I'm turning into some kind of a product. I will, and it has home, school, studies, home, and work. It has 3 segments on it. And I love having all 3 segments because sometimes we'll say, well, I don't have time for housework or I don't have time to do things at home, but you missing that portion of you and you need to incorporate. And it doesn't mean you have to clean the house every day. In the home section, it could just mean where you sit down to a meal with family member if you're living with others. It could just
Hmm.
mean that you're spending time in the kitchen cooking, or maybe you have somebody there that you want to teach something in your generation line. It could mean you tidying up a certain area in your home. It could mean you getting rid of clutter, but it's something that you're doing for the home. So over time, it's not stacked because it's in there as part of what you do. It's not boring. It feels boring because society has told you it's a boring thing, a boring chore. But truly, when you're clutter free, your mind is clutter free. You feel
Oh, yeah.
lighter.
You really, really do. And you're much more focused because your eye is not
Hmm.
going to, oh, God, when am I going to get to that? Or, oh, my
Yes.
goodness. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And one of the things that I found is very freeing in terms of routine is when I get rid of the clutter in my closet,
Yes.
the
Yes.
things that I'm going to allegedly
Yes.
wear next year
There,
when I
that's not
live.
gonna got worn. Hmm.
Let it go, people.
I tell you,
Let
and
it.
you routinely just get things and get them out of the way, and that's
Hmm.
that. Stop holding on to things that you know fully well you're not going to use, you're not going to wear. You don't have the time to spend on doing anything with it.
Hmm.
Let it go. Let
Let it
it
go.
go. Let it go. And the last question was, what will it take to do this? You got to start. You have to start. That's it. It's that's it.
Hmm.
It's nothing else. You got to start. You got to start to get it going. You got to start. However small, you have to start. Making up your bed. There's the club who love making up the bed. I'm in that club, and the people who don't make their bed. Start by making your bed. You feel good. You're
Yes.
not, because the only person you're fighting against not making up your bed is you. Your mom, whether she's alive or die, she's done telling you. You're your own woman or man. Make
You, you
up
know,
your bed. Stop being defiant.
the first thing they teach you in the military is
Mhm.
how to make a decent bed
Yeah.
because they don't want the room looking like a bunch of uh, 16-year-olds who just come in and throw their clothes on the floor because
Right?
everybody doesn't clean house the same way. They don't know if
Exactly.
you have good home training or not. So everybody learns to make it and learns to make it uniformly, which is what you were talking about in terms of how you train your staff.
Hmm.
Um, and Dr. Tachi says, as usual, this is great insight. Yeah, I think it's just, thank you, Dr. Tachi.
Thank
I
you.
think it's just the little things that we take for granted because we may have gotten that home training. We think it, we take it for granted that everybody has it, and it's not so.
Yeah. And think about this, guys. Once you get your routine down path, and the money start being routinely coming in, you see where I'm going with this? Everything piggybacks off of everything. When somebody
Mhm.
tell me cash is escaping them, I start asking them to check up in areas that they're not paying attention to. It's when you're not working out, and I don't care if it's 15 minutes walking up and down, intentionally going for a walk. You're working out your mind, body, and soul when you get up and you do that. When you read a book for 15 minutes, you're learning something new, or you're relearning something you have forgotten. Read
Mm.
that book. When you sit down and journal, when you write about your day and what's going on, it brings back the things you've accomplished and the things you've yet to accomplish. You maybe have said, I want to make $100,000, but it's not happening. Well, how are you standing in the doorway of not making it? Because you're not doing this, and that. And you're just saying, well, I get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it next week, but you're on your phone scrolling, or you're talking to your friend about nothingness or about somebody. Like, stop it and just pay attention to the things you say you're going to do. And don't
Mhm.
pack your day so that you can't accomplish it. Because another way of not doing is packing your day so tight that you can't do the things really and truly because you're too tired. There's too much in your day. Take breaks.
Mhm.
There's a reason why the law demand that if you're working 8 hours, you got to get 15 minutes, a half an hour
Yes.
lunch break, and not a 15 minutes. Gift it to yourself, business women and men. Gift it to yourself. It is important. I take my 50 minutes. I'm not a smoker or drinker, so I walk around my yard. I walk up and down. I have a glass of water. I go to the washroom. I might even read sometimes for that 15
Mhm.
minutes. It's my 15 minutes. Or
The
I might
things you
watch something.
the things you would do if you had an employer.
Yeah, I want you to really take care of yourself. Don't just see this as I have to work 20, 40, 20 hours a day and I have nothing else to do. Most people who work that much time, they're not doing a lot of the work that move the business forward. They're doing a lot of the little behind the scenes things that is not moving the needle, but it make them feel busy and productive. When
Mhm.
you set up your routine right, and it takes time, you're going to set the first routine, it's going to work, mightn't do as great, you can do a next, and you can keep tweaking until it gets you to where you're feeling like you're doing. Routine, when you're in business, guys, if I didn't say this, let me just say this part. It calls for sales, marketing, being productive in whatever you're producing, research, and all these other
Mhm.
things. But don't miss out on sales and marketing. That's going to bring you your dollars. That's going to bring in your cash flow. That's how you're going to get profit. That's how revenue come in. All I'm
Mhm.
telling you, all I'm telling you, please do not discount and say, well, I say routine and I talk about this, but I didn't talk about money. Money is in there, and I want you to write it down. Whatever number you're looking to make, I want you to write it down. I want you to work towards that number, and I want you to build it within the routine so you know. Good morning. You know that if you need to have 6 clients this
Mhm.
month, your job within the routine is to find the 6 clients, whether it's cold calling, DMing, whatever it needs, email marketing. I don't care what you're doing, but you're doing it because you're in moving. And if the 30 days only brought you 2 or 3 clients, the next 30 days, you're doing it again. And you're doing it again. There's no sitting on the sidelines. If not, you're not in
Mhm.
business. All right, I'm off my stool.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up. You talked about confidence boosting.
Mhm.
You talked about how to get this done
Yes,
and why it's important.
yes, yes.
Goodness.
That's what we
Coach,
covered today. We want money
I,
in your pocket. We don't want to pretend that we don't want money in your pockets. We want money in your pocket. I come here to tell you how to get that money in your pocket, how to keep that money in your pocket, how to think about it, and stop feeling ashamed, afraid, or whatever you're feeling about getting your monies together.
well, with that, we want to say this that Coach Caren can be found everywhere on the web. And if you're looking to set up a meeting with Coach Karen, you can do so. This is the link. I'll also put it in the comments. And also, now this one is for the course. She has
Yes,
a
that's
course, a
mhm.
self-directed course that you can also sign up for. So
Yep.
we'll have both of those put in the chat, Coach Karen. And remember, you can find her at Profits in Daily.
Yep.
Carlos says, so robbery is not an option. No, it's not.
No. Oh, Carlos.
We're not trying to do all of that. Oh my goodness. So is there something that you want to share with them while I am putting this information in the comments, Coach
No,
Karen?
just know it's good to have routine. Build all the things I covered today. I don't want to spill on anything else. Or this is the end of the month, guys. This is the end of the month. The last week. This is the last week I'm in, or it's next week. Can't remember. But time is going by so quickly. The year is going to catch up with us. And if we're not doing the things we say we're going to do, don't matter how little we are doing at the time, don't matter how little. I want to know, don't matter how little you're doing right now, next week Wednesday is the last for this month. But don't matter how little you're doing right now, you're going to be happy with yourself next year this time. You're going to be farther along from the people who haven't started. Just get started. Whatever you decide to do, get started with it now. This week, today's Wednesday. Start tomorrow. Start this afternoon. Don't wait for the weekend. Get going. Lay out the plans. Say what you want to do. Get moving on it. You want to write a book? What kind of book you want to write? Go research. Start looking at it. Take the 4 days and just spend time thinking about the book that I want to write. Get going with it. Don't wait. Don't wait for everything to be set up and to go. Just start. Just start. All right.
Yes. The word says all conditions to be perfect, you will never do anything. So I want to remind everybody, if you're looking to be a part of the BizChicks community, which we would love for you to be, you can contact us over at bizchicks.net, or you can text biz to 33777 and become a part. We'd love to show people and share with people what it is you do and how you serve. So with that, we want to remind you that tomorrow is Thursday, and we'll be here talking happy, healthy habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And on Friday, we'll be talking tech in easy to understand language. So with that, I want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business.
Yes.
So go to the front of your own
Your
line.
own line. I love that.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.